Welcome back to the Home Services Success Stories podcast powered by Peakzi, the #1 AI platform for growing your home services business. And on the show today, we have Adam Bardi, who is the owner and president at Bardi Home Services. Adam, good to have you on the show. How are you?
Excellent. Excellent. Glad to be here.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and jump right in and start getting to know you and your company. So tell us a bit about the founding story of Bardi and specifically how your father, Alex, turned adversity into an opportunity and ultimately led to the founding of the business.
Sure. So yeah, my father is an immigrant. My grandparents and him immigrated to Marietta, Georgia, from Italy, and grew up in Marietta and started working for a heating and air company out of college, and had the opportunity. He worked there about 7 years and had the opportunity to start Bardi in 1989. So, started it out of a two-bedroom apartment, which is a pretty cool story from the ground up, and grew the business. One of the cool things that I learned about kind of the first year of him starting the business when I was older is he went through a divorce. So him and my mother broke up and went through a divorce, got diagnosed with cancer, and started Bardi all in the same year.
Oh,
So
wow.
that's some adversity, right?
Yeah, I'm curious, what was his mindset if you were to observe his behaviors, the way that he was thinking, like diagnosed with cancer, divorce, starting party? What do you think was all the motivation behind that?
Uh, I think when you're an immigrant and you're an entrepreneur at heart, that's a recipe for success.
Hmm.
So, it's just persevere, right? Persevere through whatever you're going through and get to the other side. And he's a man of faith, so I'm sure that helped him through the process as well.
So you are your father's son and you are now the president of the company, right? So growing up alongside your dad, seeing him start the business from scratch, what are some of those lessons that you have learned from him from leadership, business, and otherwise?
Man, so many. Where do I start? Ton of ton of lessons. So, you know, my father, he did a really good job of giving me an opportunity. And I feel like in my experience, there's really two types of owners that bring their children into businesses. One is the way that my father did it, didn't give me any that it wasn't an easy road, made me earn everything. I had to be the best just to be considered average, right, in the business. And then there's the other type of owner that, kind of gives their kid, puts it on a silver platter, gives them titles, whatever. So I'm just very thankful that my dad made me earn it. And, my first summer when I was 12 years old, earning money to buy my first car because he told me he wasn't going to buy my car for me. I was crawling under, houses, doing installs, putting in HVAC equipment, and I progressed, until I was 16 and saved my money and bought a 1991 white Honda Accord four door, Honda Accord, right, and
Nice.
got my freedom. So, hard work, you got to earn it. The other thing that he really drove home with me was making sure that you are surrounding yourself with the right type of people, and not just personally but professionally. And he would always tell me that you're the average of your friends, right? And I'm sure you might have heard that phrase or that cliche, but he told me that when I was 12, 30 years ago. So, I feel like he was always working on himself and, trying to get better and putting himself in different rooms to learn. He is or he was very involved in a CEO group called Tech Group when he joined. It's Vistage now. So I have followed in his footsteps with that to surround myself with, great people. And I've been in a Vistage group for 10 years now. We meet once a month. That's, it's non-industry specific. And I'm a member of Nexstar, which is a best practice group for our industry. And I meet, once a week with five other operators that are in Nexstar, and we talk shop and help each other. So, you know, surrounding yourself with the right people is a big one for sure.
So those are great. I think the first thing I heard was number one, he let you earn it. He didn't just give you anything. He didn't raise you with a silver spoon in your mouth, but really to work, to earn, to live, to grow. And I think that's great. The second piece, of course, surround yourself with great people. And you have been very intentional. You mentioned Vistage, Nexstar. So not just business development, but specific industry as well. So
Right.
being the average of the people you hang around most, I think those really great points. So I know that you have kind of a leaving and a coming back story. You left and you came back in 2018. So first off, what was that? Why did you leave the business? What caused that?
So, I grew up in the business for the sole purpose, to earn money to buy a car, right? And I got my freedom. And I I didn't want to live in the shadow. I didn't want to, there were big shoes to fill. And looking back on that, real simple. I wasn't mature enough to be able to handle that responsibility at the time. So I went and I started a painting business, did some other things in life, and got the opportunity to come back in 2000, call it 10, somewhere around there. It's been about 15 years since I've been back. And came back for a number of reasons. One, it was an opportunity. Two, we were going through, the country was going through a pretty big recession, and I had started a business, a painting business, and we were focused on primarily new construction. So I was painting new construction houses, and we all know what happened in 2008,
Mhm.
right? I went from, having plenty of work, things were great. I was in my early 20s, mid 20s, to literally there was no work. So I had to pivot, and going back to Bardi was a good opportunity for me at the time, for sure.
How was that conversation with your father?
It was interesting. So he initiated it, and we went to lunch, and he said, "Hey, I'd love for you to come back and learn the business." And I thought about it for a while, and thought it was a good opportunity. But again, he made me earn it. I had to go interview and go through the process, right? Just like any other team member or employee that came to work there. So, and I got to start at the bottom. So the job that was offered to me was a warehouse manager. I pretty much drove materials around to commercial jobs, and supported the project managers and took out the trash and did that for a while to kind of earn my stripes to get back into the business at Bardi.
I think that's great. And that also tells me that you became the president not because you are your father's son, but because you had to earn your stripes and make your way into that role. So when you came back, part of the story is you helped expand Bardi from purely HVAC to full-on home services. So how'd you go about doing that? And what drove that growth? Tell that part of the story.
So, I had the opportunity. My parents wanted to retire. So in 2018, I had the opportunity to buy the business, and which we did. And we were primarily HVAC, and my dad did have the vision to start plumbing a few years before, but it was a very small piece of our business. Like we had one plumber. So, I knew that we wanted to grow the business. So really my first focus as being an entrepreneur is and my where I lean, where I'm most comfortable is sales and marketing. So I'm like, man, we got to make the phone ring. And that was really my focus in the beginning. We did that really well. First couple years, we doubled the business. But we came up into the next challenge, which is people. building a team, right? So I had to figure out how to recruit and build that recruiting machine, which I did, but it took some time to learn that process and hire our first in-house recruiter and figure out Indeed and all the different things around hiring and whatnot. So those were kind of the two big stepping stones and things that I had to learn to expand and grow the business, to where it is today. And really now, I'm focused on just growing the team, right? Building a team. It's really what we do, right?
So to give us a little bit about that, we talk about culture, we talk about values, we talk about team, right? So what has been some of your key to success in terms of hiring and attracting, retaining, and growing the best people? Because, I'm speaking to the choir here. It's tough to find great home services folks, especially in the field that have a blend of like technical and
Sure.
consumer facing. So what's your best advice on that?
Well, you know, I think the best advice is you have to start and kind of look at yourself and do that evaluation of your business and say, does somebody really want to come work here? Is it fun to work here, right? Is it fulfilling? Can people make enough money? Can provide enough opportunity for someone to come in and create the life that they want to live, right?
Mm.
So, day one of any new hire, when we do onboarding, I get to talk to all the new hires for a couple hours, and one of the first things I do is I give them my phone number, and I want them to text me their name, and so I can lock them in, and so they can reach out to me anytime, right? So we have that open line of communication. I think that's super huge, and you know, there's there's a lot of different people that you can hire and build in your business, but we feel that if we can start with someone that has, very good communication skills and that is comfortable around people, then we can teach them the technical stuff, right? The technical piece is the easiest part. And as we've grown the business, in 2024, we launched our in-house academy, Bardi University, and we graduated 11 HVAC technicians like January 3rd of this year, which is really cool. I'm excited about that. And those gals and girls are doing great, and helping us grow our team and, helping us, take care of customers.
Yeah, so it sounds like the first thing is like you personally have a relationship with each and every individual on the team. You give them your personal cell phone. So there's like communication, accessibility, even though you're the president. So building that piece. And the second that I heard is the ongoing development, Bardi University. So it sounds like a kind of a school within the organization for constant development. Is that right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, I also take time, during that first day to tell my story, and how I got to where I am today. And, most people that, you know, he- just most people assume that, my parents started the business, now I'm running the business, that they might assume that I never turned a wrench, right? I never ran a service truck, that I never fixed an air conditioner, right? So, I think that's important to tell my story and to tell the story of the business and really how we got here. It served us well for sure.
Yeah. Well, Barty's values, they are honesty, family, respect, and a can-do attitude. So what are some examples that you can say that sort of point to the implementation of those values within your culture?
You know, Can-do attitude is probably one of my favorites. Um, that's the one thing that you can control, even when the day's gone bad or something's going on that's frustrating. So, we want to make sure that, our team is supported, right? And they've got everything they need. But, you know, when I get in front of the team, I just want I try to reinforce that can-do attitude, right? I say a lot of the time that, try is not in our vocabulary, right? If I hear somebody say try, nope, we don't try, we do, right? That's very important. So just, reiterating that and making sure that people have that positive can-do attitude, I believe will, just it gets you through the day, man. Because there's always going to be things that come at you that might be disappointing, but if you wait long enough, you're going to get some good news too.
Yeah. And I think it's cool how you sort of habitually help change the language. We don't try, we do. I know that sounds like just kind of a small thing, but psychologically, over time and through repetition, that begins to kind of change the attitude. So I think that's great. So,
Absolutely.
so Bardi's known for customers talking about like how your texts make them feel like family, even mention them by name. So,
Sure.
what's been kind of your secret to creating that customer loyalty and delivering that great customer experience?
Well, it's all around the team, and when a new person joins our team, I simply tell everybody that, my one singular goal in life right now is to make Bardi the best place to work in Atlanta, the best home service company to work for Atlanta. And if we can achieve that, we can have fun. These guys can win, right? These gals and girls can win, then they're gonna take care of our clients, right? They're gonna go above and beyond and do whatever they've got to do to make people happy, right?
Mhm.
So, that's first and foremost. The other thing that I believe has got us there is all of our line managers, all the guys and gals that are supporting our field professionals that are managing a team, they put a uniform on and they go in the trucks and they go ride with these guys and they, train them on the spot. They teach them, and they reinforce, our six-step process on how to run a service call. And I believe that's very important that we inspect what we expect, right? And we go out there and we, show that we can do what we're asking our team to do.
So it sounds like ultimately it comes down to take care of your people so they can take care of your customers. There's kind of a trickle down, right?
Sure.
Can you
Sure.
share a bit about the six-step process? Something that maybe your future customers would like to know? Like what are they going to get if they hire Bardi, right?
Right. Well, I would say the thing that they're going to get in our six-step process, right, is that we have to be prepared for the call. Okay. And what that means is you kind of think about it. If I was single and I was looking forward to going on a date, right, with this beautiful young lady that someday I would want to marry, right, I would take a shower, brush my teeth, right? Trim my beard. I'd probably wash my car. I would do all these things, right, to prepare to make sure, maybe even get dinner reservations, right? So I would prepare to make sure that the this date goes really well. So we want to do the same thing as a technician, right? We want to make sure that we are groomed, right? Our breath is fresh, our uniform's clean, our truck's clean, right? All those things that our truck stocked, like that we know about the call. We've done the research on the client. Is this a first-time client? Is this a member? Is this someone that's been with us for 20 years, right? So that we can make sure that we're set up for success, right? And then when we knock on the door and we get into the home, that we set the agenda and that we tell people what's going to happen today, right? Like we give them expectations of how we're going to run this process and what they're going to get. And at the end, we want to know if we provided a five-star service or not, right? So that's step two. And then we go through the explore process and we don't only look at maybe the problem at hand, but we want to take a whole home approach and because your home's a system and we want to make sure that we're covering everything and that we don't miss anything so we don't have to come back, right? That's frustrating for clients. And then once we've figured out what's going on, we want to present options to our client, right? We want to present written options with warranties, with payment options so that it's real, right? Written's real. and we want the client to pick what's best for them before we get anything, before we do any work. And so they approve that work. They're comfortable with the price, what we're going to do. Then, of course, we execute that work and then we wrap up, right? We clean up, we show the client, what we did, why we did it, the work that was performed. We collect the money and make sure that we provided five-star service and go to the next one.
Yeah, so what it sounds like you have a very definitive, kind of a proven process, a method that's sort of homegrown from Bardi.
Sure.
It's systematic. It's something that you do with every customer. Therefore, you have kind of a scalable customer experience. And also, I know your technicians are known for educating the customer. That's what you mentioned, right? Giving them the different options and sort of giving them the power to choose, right? It's not just like, here's the thing, this is how much it's going to cost, right? To sort of incorporate them into solving their own problem, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
So staying family owned for 35 years is pretty rare. So how has being local in a family run operation shaped your approach to business and how you deliver your service to customers?
So, us staying privately held has, been able to, it's given me the luxury that every decision we make isn't just about profitability.
Hmm.
Really simple. And, we can focus on our reputation in the market, one, which is, and home service is pretty much the most important thing, not only for attracting clients, but attracting great staff that wants to come work here, right? Um, and lastly, or second, is it lets us play the long game, right? It lets us, entrench ourselves in the community, and we're playing the long game. We're not trying to create enough EBITDA this quarter so that we can go to market and transact, right? So we can take care of our customers, take care of our team members, and our community. Giving back to our community and supporting our community is something that I learned from my parents, and is very, very important. And we, support Habitat for Humanity, our Norcross Cooperative Ministry that's right down the road that
Nice.
helps people. So, those are that's what I think about when I think about the pros of staying private.
Yeah, so really controlling your reputation within the marketplace, long game. You don't have to sell out to some private equity firm or something like that.
Sure.
And also community service, the opportunity to choose the organizations that you support with the business. I think those are great.
Yeah.
So you mentioned reputation. We'll switch gears for a little bit. This podcast is brought to you by Peakzi, powered by Peakzi. You're a Peakzi customer.
I
So
am. Yeah.
share a bit about, in your experience, what is Peakzi and how has it benefited your business?
So Peakzi, it's been really cool, right? It's been fast. I think we've been a client for 4 or 5 months now. I do want to give a shout out to Sean, our rep. He's awesome, right? He's always taking care of us. There was a lot of questions at first, but he's done a really great job of helping us, get the platform, really going that we can maximize. What I think's cool, are kind of the three things that attracted me to it was first the marketing tools, really cool marketing tools from data trends, market trends, our AI visibility, right? Those things are really cool. The AI website, never heard of an AI website until we became a Peakzi customer, and we've got that launched, and that's live. So that's really cool. The competitor analysis is awesome as well. To be able to, you know, compare yourself with a tool to competitors in your market, as many as you want, or pick the ones that you choose. I think that's a really cool feature. And then last but not least, the recruiting tool, right?
And the recruiting tool. So I heard like the marketing pieces of things, right? So
Sure.
visibility and also the AI website, competitor analysis, like how do you stack up against the
Yeah,
marketplace, right? What are the
absolutely.
gaps that you need to improve upon? And
Yep.
also the recruiting piece. Tell us a bit more about the AI website. What exactly is that?
So the AI website, to my understanding, and this is not like my specialty, but it is a website that is specifically created, and it allows the LLMs or Chat or Gemini, to be able to crawl that website and to recommend, companies like Bardi, to homeowners that are using LLMs to find information about our industry or search out a service.
Interesting. Okay, so instead of like a website that's meant for Google, it's a kind of a site, a digital space that specifically will come up on AI search, right? Grok,
My
chat,
understanding.
all those things. Okay. Interesting. Very cool. Very cool. Anything else you'd like to share about Peakzi?
I'm curious to see where where Peakzi goes as far as the technology, and then every time I talk to Sean, they're working on something new, a new release. So it's moving super fast. But I'm excited to be a client and see what other cool features that are going to come out that we can use in our business.
Love it. Well, I mean, you've definitely got the right team. You mentioned Sean, Pawan, the entire guys out there.
Yeah.
Not only do they know tech, but they know home services. They have a real love for the industry. That's part of why we're doing this podcast, is to sort of give home services a voice, you know what I mean, and have them be seen and recognized within the marketplace, which is great. So, well, Adam, begin to kind of close us out here. So what is your vision for Bardi? What is it that you hope to accomplish in the future?
So the goal that we're really focused on, and I'm really focused on right now, is we want to double the business in the next 3 years. And we've had incredible growth up to this point, in the 7.5 years that I've owned it. We've been on the, Inc. 5,000 fastest growing companies twice.
Nice.
But yeah, we want to double the business. And really what that means is we've got to double the team. So we're in the team building phase of continuing to build the team, and the people, I say all the time, the people, it's the best part and maybe the hardest part of a business. So that's what I'm focused on. We did launch electrical about a year ago. I'm excited about electrical. The team's doing a really good job of growing that business. In our first year, we're going to do almost $3 million in revenue. So I'm proud of that. And, we want to continue to focus on growing non-seasonal revenue. And what that means to me is, we're an HVAC primary business, and HVAC is weather dependent and a little bit of an emotional roller coaster. So I love plumbing, I love electrical, and we want to continue to grow those pieces of our business, the non-seasonal revenue pieces of our business.
Well, that's a very inspiring vision for sure. And it sounds like you are a tremendous leader and you've got a great team behind you. So certainly wish you all the continued success.
Oh,
So,
thank you.
Adam, close us out. What's your website, social handles? How do people get a hold of you?
Yeah, so Bardi.com, Bardi.com, and you can find me on LinkedIn. So I'm on LinkedIn, shoot me a message. I'm on Facebook as well. So, Adam Bardi, and reach out. I'll be more than happy to help any way I can.
Awesome. Well, Adam, we'll make sure to have all your contact information in the show notes. And this has been really awesome to get to know you and your story. And thanks so much for your time.
Awesome. Thank you.
Well, everyone, that's it for today's episode. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on the Home Services Success Stories podcast powered by Peakzi, the #1 AI platform for growing your home services business.